Well met, sorcerers. My name is Gabriel, and I like to enjoy things. And I wanted to talk today a little bit about the state of sorcery contested realm, specifically the one set per year problem. And I apologize for the road noise. I am focused on the road. I am not worried about what the camera's doing. It may be flip-flopping all over the place, but I can't look at it. But I can talk and drive, and we're in a hands-free state, so we're good here. What's up, guys? This is Gabriel from the not-so-distant future. I am in a Costco parking lot, which is appropriate since Rudy from Alpha Investments loves to quote the movie Idiocracy. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Anyway, I just wanted to give a quick apology. The audio quality on this video is not the best. My microphone was doing some bristling against my beard, and also just the road noise, and there was also some weird effects of audio in there. But I wanted to go and get the video out there because I just wanted to give my thoughts. And if you're enjoying it, then please give me that like and subscribe. And also, let's have a discussion in the comments. What do you think about one set per year? I think I made some good points, but honestly, I don't remember because I was rambling. So we can elaborate on them further and have a discussion here or in the Facebook community group. So, all right, thanks for watching, guys. So, a lot of people seem to think that sorcery needs more than one set per year, but that, in my opinion, is simply not the case. And I just want to talk about my personal reasons why. So, a lot of people are drawn to sorcery because, well, for many different reasons. The hand-painted art. For me personally, that is a huge one, but also another huge draw is the one set per year. And from my perspective, the game is almost marketed toward full adults. And by that I mean, adults who, for the most part, have children and busy lives, or just older adults that maybe have a little bit of money to spend on a TCG, that could buy full booster boxes, right? Because when we were kids, we'd buy packs of Magic. We didn't know what we were doing, and we were just getting packs, and we could never keep up with what was going on. We played in sort of a kitchen table setup. But now, as we've gotten older, maybe we have adult money and we can afford to buy full booster boxes of a game. But a lot of us have returned to Magic in recent years. Magic has had a huge resurgence. And as you all know, all the card games are in a bull market right now. But, excuse me one second. I am driving and I'm hot. Anyway, Magic just has this endless churn that none of us can keep up with, it seems. Yes, there are people that can keep up with the churn, and there are people that love that. But a lot of us went away from games like Magic the Gathering, and I do still play some Magic with my kids and occasionally with a friend or two. But a lot of us have gone away from the game because it is just this always, every 2 months or less, there's a set or a specialty set or some product that's dropping. It used to be like they'd have a Universes Beyond set, and then they would have, a standard set, and then they would have like a modern targeted set, like Modern Horizons, which now all going forward, it's every other set, or like half of all sets are going to be Universes Beyond now, and Universes Beyond is going to be in standard. It's a little out of control, and a lot of people are disappointed with the game, and that's a reason why a lot of people have moved away from the game. And then a lot of them have jumped over to sorcery, and they love it at first. They say, we love this idea of one set per year, but then you get to this lull, as we're calling this period now, because we're in February, and it's been some months since the release of Arthurian Legends. I want to say it was November. I don't know. I can't remember when I got my boxes. And we have all the way until possibly Q1 of 2026 before we get the next set. And for me, that's perfect. We're busy. I have kids. I'm on my way to get them right now from karate, and then we're going straight to fencing. And then tonight is the release of another card game that we play, so we're busy doing that. And it is just all the time some event in our lives or financially, a lot of us are on a razor's edge. In this country, we can't necessarily afford to buy boxes 3 times a year or even 2 times a year. So 1 time a year is a perfect release schedule. And a second reason why 1 time a year is a perfect release schedule is the meta. You have time to collect your cards, build your decks, understand the meta, and kind of curate a perfect deck, or curate a couple different decks that like have some specialty thing you're trying to get. Maybe you're trying to work on the wedding deck, or the one deck where you have to get to the stone and hold it for get 8 counters or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember. But I like having the time to breathe between the sets. Time to plan. I want to go to events. I want to go to SorceryCon. I'm considering going to Gen Con. And I can't travel, I can't save up to travel to events for multiple card games. You kind of got to pick one. And with that 1 year release, it makes it just right in that sweet spot for a lot of us. And for those, and there is outliers, for this train of thought. Like, I get it. I have ADHD like everybody else, and just like being a vegan or whatever else, you must tell everybody if you have ADHD. I get hyper-focused. I have had a hyper-focus on sorcery. I hyper-focus on hobby after hobby after hobby. Well, a lot of people hyper-focus on sorcery, and they want to continue hyper-focusing on sorcery, but that is really not, in my opinion, how the schedule for release is designed. I don't think that you should hyper-focus for more than a few months at a time on the game, unless you have a really active play community, which in my state, we're kind of in the boonies. We don't really have an active play community, and I would love to get one started, but I am a very busy individual, as I've kind of talked about. But, and if you're actively playing and you're enjoying it and you're constantly shifting your decks, then that's great. But if you've built a sort of meta deck, a perfect deck, then there's no real reason for you to keep tinkering beyond, maybe a card or two. If you see some interesting combo, or if you're like coming up against some new deck in the meta that you need to tweak your deck to be prepared for, I just don't see the draw of that. And so my suggestion is, just breathe and let it be the game that it is, and try not to complain online. Don't be one of the outliers online that complains, hey, we need 2 sets a year, or this game's gonna die. It's not gonna die. I mean, first of all, they've already said that they have enough money to back it for another 5 sets and ideas going forward. The guy's sitting on plenty of money over at X Curio, so I think they're gonna be fine. And if they started doing multiple sets a year, they would have to staff up. It would also drop the quality of the cards that they produce. They have to source all the hand-painted art, which is gorgeous, and I love the art. So they would have to ramp that up. They'd have to start bringing in double, triple, quadruple the number of artists. Plus, they want to curate it from the highest level, so they'd have to be approving these arts and sending back notes on all these arts, and that's just not sustainable. And also if you don't want a power creep that is just uncontrollable, then you need to have a smaller set release schedule so that you can curate the mechanics and play test the mechanics. And you're, of course, going to have outliers with the mechanics as well as time goes on. That can't be helped. You're going to have some card like the Ring that's in every deck, or you're going to have some avatar like Archimago that is going to dominate the meta because maybe you didn't quite tweak the mechanics enough to make it a balance, and that's fine, because you'll have another set in another year, or another set in another 2 years that's going to have some Archimago, perfect matchup, and then it won't be as an alluring of a deck to build. So I would prefer them keep it at 1 set a year, so that they have time to curate the content for us so that we can continue having the perfect game that we love. And if taking a little break from Sorcery is what you need to do to be ready for the next set, then I think that's what you should do. I don't think you should clamor for an extra set. You know, my kids and I, we love Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion World, and I consider it to be more of a casual game. I think Sorcery is more of a niche game, and I love it. But, you know, it's not a game that my kids are necessarily going to get excited about, or it's not a game that I'm going to be able to play at my LGS. So I like to have another game that's a little bit more casual for me, like Dragon Ball Fusion World, which has a new set pre-release dropping today, by the way. And I'm actually so busy that I will not be able to go to the pre-release. But we have been going to the weekly events for that. But, you know, get another game. You know, maybe it's just going back to Magic on a more casual basis, you know, just picking up a game of Commander with some friends, or building one of the new standard decks and maybe just occasionally hitting up a tournament, or like a Friday Night Magic or whatever. Or maybe a hobby completely outside of the collectible world, and that could be refreshing. I mean, I fence. I love fencing. I fence epee, and it really dominates a huge portion of my life. I'm also going back to school, getting my master's degree. I mean, I get that not everybody has a drive to constantly fill their life with things to do, but even so, I don't think you should clamor for extra sets, because I think it takes away from the game that we've grown to love the way that it is, and we want it to be a perfectly curated game as best as possible. We want it to have that 90s feel, I guess you could call it, but it is also a timeless feel. Like what makes it that 90s feel is actually what also makes it timeless in its style, in its stylization, in its style. I don't know what I'm saying. I mean, that's like that. That's what made Magic so popular, is that OG style that it curated and then it subsequently moved away from. And we don't want 20 years from now Sorcery to become a game that is just this steamrolling monster in the TCG space that just becomes a slog that, you know, you don't get excited about. I want that excitement. I want that hit, that dopamine hit of the new release, seeing that art for the first time, holding the cards in my hand. I love that it's a paper game, paper forward focused game. You know, I'm not worried about having an app at this time. I mean, yes, I know you can play on Tabletop Simulator, but that's not for me personally. But I actually may try to play some on Tabletop Simulator in the near future, because I would like to practice up a little bit before I go to, like, say, Gen Con or whatever, because like I said, we don't have a community here. And I am going to try to start some community here, but it is difficult to get the people that I know to want to spend money on the box level. You know, they would spend money on the pre-con level, but I don't think they'd be willing to go up to the next level where you need the uniques to make your deck really pop or be competitive in any way. But I'm fine with that. You know, maybe I can play a popper version with my local community, or, you know, just ordinaries and exceptionals or something. Anyway, I've really rambled on, but I really wanted to make that point. I wanted to make it a fireside chat, and I do have a fireplace at home that I was going to sit by and talk about it, but I keep just not getting it out, keep just not getting the words out of my mouth, and I just wanted to come and say something. So hit me in the comments. I mean, give me your opinion, respectfully if you can. If not, you know, whatever you want to do, I guess that's fine. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. And if you agree, then give us a like and a subscribe. And if you want to see more of this kind of content where I'm just talking off the cuff, that would be fine. Maybe in a more safe environment, not the car, but I really just had the words that I had to get out today. And we'll be back to box openings. So like I said earlier, the Dragon Ball Fusion World set comes out today, so I may open a box tomorrow. I think if I can get it today. It might not come out till next week, but the pre-release is today. You know, and I have a whole case of Sorcery Beta and 3 boxes of Arthurian Legends that I'm sitting on, that I'm also going to start doing some openings on. So subscribe to the channel, give the video a like. If you have somebody who's into TCGs, encourage them to check out Sorcery in a healthy, hyper-focused way. That's what we all strive to do, is, just play the game in a way that's healthy for us. Anyway, maybe I should have said less, as the kids like to say. Thanks for watching, and keep contesting the realm, as they say.